Hi guys, how's it going? David O'Sullivan here, and in this video I'm going to be covering all of the films of the summer season. So a kind of summer in review video, kind of like a monthly film roundup, but as opposed to covering the films of just 1 month, I mean looking back over the entire summer movie season, so from around April to August, and giving my kind of brief summations of each of the films that I saw across the summer movie season period. Now, there were a lot of films that came out over the summer. There's some that I wasn't able to check out, and like I said, I'm going to be talking briefly about each of the films because there's a lot of these films that I've already done full in-depth reviews of. You'll be able to find them on my channel, and like I said, this is going to be more of a monthly film roundup video, but just covering the whole of the summer season as opposed to just 1 month. I'm not going to count March because March isn't really summer. I mean, April's not really summer either, but you know, we have got Captain America Civil War and The Jungle Book, so I count them as the first big summer movies. And even though we've got Batman v Superman, Zootropolis that came out back in March, I think, I'm not going to count them in this video, so just from April to August. Also, I'm going to be kind of ranking these films from a kind of best to worst, well, starting with the worst actually, and going up to the best, and then the number 1 film at the end of the video will be my pick of the summer. So instead of my pick of the month, it will be my pick of the summer. So without further ado, let's kick this off with the first film. And coming in at the bottom of the pile for me was Alice Through the Looking Glass. I didn't think this film was utterly terrible, but it was probably my least favourite film of the summer. I thought the first one was alright, I didn't mind the first one, but the sequel to me was just, I wasn't a fan. I just didn't think this film needed to happen. I didn't think this film needed a sequel. I mean, the first one did make $1 billion at the box office and came out back in 2010. I don't know why they waited 6 years to make another one, but for me, it really fell flat and it really didn't work, and I didn't find it entertaining or enjoyable whatsoever. The next film up is Now You See Me 2. Now You See Me 2 and Alice Through the Looking Glass were at the bottom of the pile for me. But there were some redeeming qualities for Now You See Me 2, I think. I mean, I like Mark Ruffalo. I like the majority of the cast and the characters. I don't know what the hell was going on with Woody Harrelson's twin. I don't know what the hell that was all about. And I think Daniel Radcliffe was alright. It was a little bit out of place, but I think he did a good job when he was given. But again, like Alice Through the Looking Glass, there's another sequel which I think wasn't that good at all, and I liked the first Now You See Me. I think it's a perfectly fine, good, fun movie, but this, again, it fell flat and it didn't work for me. And the next one up, yes, another pointless sequel. I swear this has been like the summer of just pointless sequels that really didn't work. But yeah, the next film up is The Huntsman Winter's War, and unlike the other two where I kind of liked the first installment, The Huntsman, I really wasn't a fan of Snow White and the Huntsman. I didn't think it was terrible, but I didn't like it and I found it disappointing and underwhelming. And when they announced there was going to be a sequel, I was like, really? But I like the fact that they had Emily Blunt on board. That added a bit of credibility to it because I'm not a massive fan of Charlize Theron as the evil queen. Chris Hemsworth was alright, I suppose. But yeah, I liked Emily Blunt as the Ice Queen. I think that was pretty cool, but I would have preferred if they did an Ice Queen film, to be honest with you. But everything else, I kind of think like probably the most pointless sequel out of the bunch, to be honest with you. I don't know why this film needed to happen. It's not as if the first one made loads of money like Alex, and it's not as if everyone was clamouring for a sequel. So again, a really pointless sequel to a film that I don't think anyone wanted a sequel to. The next film up is not a big blockbuster movie, but it's A Hologram for the King starring Tom Hanks. Again, not a terrible film, but a film that was a little underwhelming for me, a little forgettable. I think Tom Hanks was great, he's always great, but the film surrounding him was a little bit of a letdown, I think. It's not a big, flashy film or anything, but it didn't really achieve what it was trying to go for. This kind of like someone kind of finding himself in some exotic land, and there was kind of a romance going on. There was a lot of different things all meshed together into one film. For me, it didn't really work. The next film is Ghostbusters. I didn't hate Ghostbusters, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great either. I wasn't against the idea of a Ghostbusters remake. I think it could have been done really well, but for me, it wasn't executed as well as it could have been done. And for me, I didn't have a problem with the all-female Ghostbusters. I like the idea of an all-female Ghostbusters, but I don't think it was the right director. I have nothing against Paul Feig. I just don't think his directing style was right for a Ghostbusters remake. I think they should have picked someone else, but there was elements I liked to it, but on a whole, it wasn't that great. Coming up next is Independence Day Resurgence. Although I didn't love Ghostbusters, I did actually like Independence Day Resurgence and I had fun with it. A lot of people really hated Independence Day Resurgence, but I found it to be somewhat entertaining and enjoyable. Was it a a really bad film from a technical point of view? Absolutely. It was a complete and utter mess. It was a complete and utter joke. But I found it funny because of that, and because it knew it wasn't this great film, because it was taking the mick out of itself. And yeah, I kind of had fun with it in that respect. Do I think there should be another one? Do I want there to be another one? No, I think it should stop here. But I thought it was kind of like a guilty pleasure kind of thing for me. So yeah, I actually somewhat enjoyed Independence Day Resurgence. The next film up is Warcraft. Again, I didn't love Warcraft. There was elements that I did like about it. It was a bit of a mixed bag for me. There was elements that I really liked. There were elements that I didn't really like. I think it was alright, probably one of the better video game movies we've ever had, but it wasn't that great either. I think it had a lot of potential, it could have been really great, but for me it kind of fell short. The next film up is Nerve. I didn't get a chance to do a review of this, but again, I didn't really have a lot to say about this film. It was better than I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't amazing or anything. You know, it was okay. It was alright as this kind of teen kind of thriller kind of thing, but I don't know, it was sufficient, it was alright, but it didn't blow me away. Coming in next, it's The Legend of Tarzan. Another film that was alright. I had a lot of both positives and negatives with this film. Do we really need another Tarzan film? I don't think so, but it was alright, so I wasn't against it. The next film is Central Intelligence with Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart. This film kind of surprised me. It was funnier than I thought it was going to be, although that being said, a lot of the jokes were given away in the trailers. But I did think it was funny enough and good enough for what it was trying to be. The next film up is Eye in the Sky, another film that I didn't get a chance to do a review of. A lot of other people were raving about this, it was amazing, and although I didn't think it was good, I found it a little underwhelming. Like, it wasn't trying to be this big thing, it was more of this small, contained, isolated suspense thriller, but at the same time it kind of dragged a bit for me, where they were just dragging this one little situation into a whole feature-length film. For me, it didn't really work as well as it could have done. Swallows and Amazons is the next film. I've already done a review of this quite recently. I think it was perfectly fine as a harmless, fun children's film, but it didn't really add anything new or different to the mix to make you go, wow. War Dogs, the film I've seen most recently, is next up. Again, another film that I found entertaining and enjoyable, but it didn't blow me away. Next up is Midnight Special, a film that I really liked, but it was a bit too much of a slow burner for me. Like, I liked the whole concept and premise. I liked the fact that it was this kind of lo-fi, low-budget science fiction thriller, but for me it was too much of a slow burner. It kind of dragged a bit too much for me. Another film that I really liked, but again there wasn't much to this film for me to really love it. There was a lot that I really liked about it, but it didn't have enough to it to make me go, wow, this is really great. Next up is Spielberg's The BFG, another film where I liked and I thought it was good. I had some issues with it, but I think overall it was good and it did what it set out to do. Suicide Squad is next up. If you see my review, you know I really like Suicide Squad. Did it have some problems? Was it very flawed from a technical standpoint? Absolutely, but it didn't stop me from enjoying the film, and I had really good time and I thought it was really good fun. Next up is Jason Bourne. Again, it wasn't amazing, it didn't blow me away. Not as good as the original three with Matt Damon, but I think it was good enough. Do I think it could have been better? Absolutely, but it didn't disappoint me, it didn't let me down. And number 9 is Star Trek Beyond. This was a really refreshing film for me. It wasn't amazing, it didn't blow me away. I don't think it's one of the best Star Trek films we've ever had, but I liked how it was a refreshing kind of throwback to the original series. It was still a big budget action movie, but it was a more smaller contained story, and I really liked that. And number 8, it's Disney's Pete's Dragon. I was really pleasantly surprised by this film. I think it was actually really good. It wasn't, you know, spectacular or anything, but I actually really enjoyed it and had a good time with Pete's Dragon. And number 7 is Money Monster. Now, this is one of the films that really surprised me of this year, the other being Eddie the Eagle. But Money Monster, yeah, it really surprised me. I didn't really have any kind of expectations for this film. I had quite low expectations actually, but it really surprised me by how good it was. Again, it wasn't amazing, but it surprised me that it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And number 6 is X-Men Apocalypse. A lot of people really didn't like X-Men Apocalypse and weren't fans, but I actually really liked X-Men Apocalypse. Is it the best of the series? No, I would still rank, you know, Days of Future Past, X2, First Class above this, maybe even the original X-Men film as well, but I think there was enough to really like about X-Men Apocalypse for fans of the series, and I actually really enjoyed it. Getting into the top 5 now, and at number 5 is Finding Dory. I was really pleasantly surprised by this film. I didn't know if it was going to be that great or not. I mean, Pixar's got a good track record, not really for sequels. I mean, the Toy Story films, with the exception of them, the sequels aren't that great usually, but Finding Dory really pleasantly surprised me. I don't think it's as good as Finding Nemo, but it was still really good in its own way. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed Finding Dory. At number 4 is another kind of surprise film, and that's The Nice Guys. Very different kind of film, this kind of comedic crime buddy cop thriller. I actually really like The Nice Guys. Nice Guys is one of my favourite films of the year, so number 4 is The Nice Guys. Getting to the top 3 now, at number 3 is When Marnie Was There. It came out 2014 in Japan, it came out last year in the US, we only just got it here in the UK this year, and I really love When Marnie Was There. I think it's one of Studio Ghibli's best films. I wouldn't put it right at the top, you know, I think Spirited Away is better than this, but it was still one of their best, I thought, and I really enjoyed When Marnie Was There. And at number 2 is The Jungle Book. Now, I absolutely love The Jungle Book. It came out recently on Blu-ray, and it's just absolutely amazing. If it doesn't win the best visual effects, I'm going to be so annoyed, because it's really a miraculous visual achievement from what they were able to do. And they recreated this whole jungle and it looks so real. Everything about The Jungle Book I absolutely loved, and I really hope it gets the recognition it deserves. And at number 1, this is probably predictable, but it's Captain America Civil War. I am a big Marvel movie fan, but that being said, I didn't have any Marvel movies on my best of the year last year, but so far anyway, this year, Captain America Civil War is my number 1 at the moment anyway, and I just thought it was great. One of Marvel's best movies. It may even be the best Marvel movie. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm going to wait and watch Civil War again on Blu-ray when it comes out, and I'm going to do a ranking the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I would definitely rank it right up there with Avengers, Winter Soldier. I think it's one of their best movies. I absolutely love Civil War. Absolutely fantastic. So my pick of the summer for 2016 is Captain America Civil War. And there we go. I know I was going a little bit fast there, but I really didn't want to spend too long in each of the films, because I knew I had a lot of films to talk about. A lot of them I've already done reviews on, like I said, so if you want to know my full in-depth thoughts on any one of those films, you can watch my reviews for those films. The majority of them I've done reviews of. So yeah, it was a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, we had some great films, like the top 5 I think I would give like 4 or 5 stars to, but a lot of the other 4-star films, even though I gave 4 stars, they weren't amazing, they didn't blow me away. Like past summers like 2014, for example, we had Edge of Tomorrow, Winter Soldier, X-Men Days of Future Past. We had so many good movies of that summer. Also last year we got Mad Max Fury Road. We got some great movies of summer last year. It's not been the best summer movie season, but at the same time, it's not been the worst, but there's been a lot of underwhelming films and a lot of disappointments and a lot of just unnecessary, pointless sequels that really flopped at the box office. So I hope the studio has learned to not do these stupid, pointless sequels and start doing more original films, because some of the original films have done quite well, and even the ones that didn't do well, everyone loves, you know, like The Nice Guys, for example. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up my summer in review video, a kind of special edition of a monthly film roundup, if you like. What did you think about this year's summer movie season? What are your favourite movies of the summer? Let me know down below, I'd love to know. And if you like this, make sure to click subscribe to see more. But for now, I've been David O'Sullivan. I'll see you next time.